Hi, I'm Carol Andrews, and welcome to this special episode of Southwest TV News. On today's show, we take a look back at the summer of 2017 and some of the exciting events we covered. We'll kick things off with the Frontier Days exhibition in Swift Current. The 79th annual Frontier Days drew a crowd out to Kinetic Park as it continued a summer tradition for Swift Current and area, offering an array of entertainment for all ages over 4 days. This included the celebration of the 100th anniversary of 4-H in Saskatchewan, bringing youth into the spotlight through the livestock shows and equestrian competitions, to the ever-popular CCA Rodeo, which filled the grandstands show after show. An annual event bringing the community together.
Because we get to celebrate where we came from, our Western heritage, and I just love that, because we all came from ranchers, and agriculture was a big part of it. So for me, that's the best part. Plus, it's where I can bring my kids and my grandchild, and it's a safe environment, and we just have fun.
Well, for some, like Wade Rempel, Frontier Days is a walk down memory lane.
Well, I used to come here when we were kids, and Dad used to pick up here for Myers in the early 50s and 60s, and we'd come here as kids, and I remember, seeing Tom Buse and Mel Coleman and, guys like that riding broncs, and it was always special, and it was the biggest event that we ever come to as kids, and when I started to pick up here, it was an honor to come here.
The Midway also offered an array of entertainment from thrilling rides to exotic wildlife. And indoors at the stockade among the many vendors was the ever-popular Maple Leaf Fudge booth. Debbie Shand is originally from Niagara Falls and now calls Swift Current home for the past 20 years. A familiar face at Frontier Days, she travels the trade show and exhibition circuit for 6 months out of the year, selling the crowd favorites like caramel apples and the famous Maple Leaf Fudge. A recipe which she's mastered over the years, offering up to 36 flavors, including jalapeno, maple bacon, and strawberry.
You have to get the fudge to the proper temperature or it won't set. If you go too high, it's too hard. If you go too low, it's just very runny and you can't use it. When the temperature is, you pour it onto the granite, and then the granite cools it down. So about 15 minutes after that, you can cream it, which just means you're walking around the table and you're putting air into it, which gives it texture. And about 5-10 minutes after that, you can put it into the box, and about 15 minutes after that, you cut it.
Coinciding with Frontier Days was the Canada 150 celebration, which saw crowds lining the streets of Swift Current to watch the over 100 entries in the annual parade. Float after float saluted Canada's special day, while pleasing the crowd with a candy treat. The celebration moved on to Memorial Park, where guests dressed in a sea of red and white, marking the occasion of Canada's 150. Among those celebrating was Ikashana Degala. Ikashana moved here from the Philippines 8 years ago with her family, and now officially a Canadian citizen, was given the honor of raising the Canadian flag, an experience she won't soon forget.
Just the weight of the responsibility on my shoulder, right? Raising the flag, not just the act of raising the flag, but being at the Welcome Center, being a new Canadian citizen, and just embracing the Canadian citizenship, and of course my being a Filipino as well.
A day of celebrating Canada's 150th, while showing community pride, a sense of volunteerism, and unity.
Canada Day means we live in a country where we can free and do things, and it just means a celebration.
Over 1,200 participants took part in the Canada 150 celebration at Memorial Park, hosted by Tourism Swift Current and its presenting partners. Wishing you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the staff and management of Pioneer Co-op, celebrating 80 years in Southwest Saskatchewan. Wishing you the best this holiday season and into the new year from Mayor Dennis Perreault, City Council, and staff of the City of Swift Current. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the management and staff of Chinook Refrigeration and Air Conditioning, serving Southwest Saskatchewan since 1976. Wishing you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the management and staff of Pinnacle Financial in Swift Current. The summer of 2017 was filled with culture, and the Newcomer Welcome Center in Swift Current was at the center of it all. Canada is a melting pot of numerous cultures, bringing together various languages, traditions, food, and music, making us the most desired country to call home. And as we celebrate Canada 150, events across the country are taking place to mark the occasion. Such is the case with the Southwest Culture Fest, presented by the Newcomer Welcome Center in Swift Current. An event which spans from mid-July to early September, spotlighting the cultural diversity of Southwest Saskatchewan. A project which has come to light through a Canada 150 grant.
We, as a Welcome Center, we thought that we must do something to celebrate 150 and, the presence of newcomers in the community and how newcomers are able to shape the face of the community in a positive way. So we thought of why don't we celebrate? We've always been doing other things that for a long time we've not been doing anything that's more that's fun and like really a celebration. So we thought, why not bring cultural celebrations here during that period?
A variety of entertainers will take to the stage during the Culture Fest activities, from Cuban bands to internationally renowned hoop dancer Terrence Littleton, entertaining the crowd while educating others of their unique culture.
To give me the opportunity to showcase a little bit of our First Nation culture through song and dance. And again, bridging that gap through what our non-Native people see when they go to our powwows, to give them a better understanding, okay, oh, that's what that means. Well, that's what the hoop dance means. Because a lot of them, that's why I asked at the beginning, how many of you seen a hoop dance before? Majority of them put up their hand. And again, how many of them actually know what a hoop dance is, where it originated from, and what's the meaning of it? And so when doing things like this, events like this, I'm able to speak about it and give our non-Native people kind of the information and knowledge of what this dance really means and what it portrays to our people.
An event which is meant to bridge the gap between various cultures while creating a sense of community. Southwest Culture Fest activities are scheduled through September 9th at the Lyric Theatre and other locations across the Southwest, with a full schedule available online.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Dr. Noble Irwin Regional Healthcare Foundation, keeping healthcare strong in Southwest Saskatchewan.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Gus, Louie, and George at the K Steakhouse and Motel. Book your Christmas party or New Year's celebration today. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from David Anderson, Member of Parliament for Cypress Hills Grasslands. 2017 will be a year to remember for all Canadians as our nation celebrated its 150th. Swift Current residents are leaving their imprint on Canada's history through the Canada 150 Mosaic, a traveling exhibition where selected communities located along rail lines design tiles reflecting the landscape, events, and other aspects of their region. Louis Lavoie is the co-founder of the project and explains the overall concept behind the Canada 150 Mosaic.
We came up with the idea probably about 10 years ago, and we thought we were doing these murals where we have the communities come out and paint. So we wanted to use that technique, but to do it all across Canada and get everybody across Canada to paint a picture. So when the sexcentennial came up, we thought, well, this would be the perfect time for us to do this big, probably the largest mural in all of Canada project. We'll probably finish on about 90 communities by the end of this year. And then we're looking into next year completing our project, which is about, we want to get 150 communities across Canada to be a part of this.
A unique concept bringing communities together, which these Swift Current residents were excited to be a part of.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance, an opportunity for us, and why not be a part of it? Swift Current is mainly an agriculture community, and if you venture out west, it's more of trees, so I thought put in the pine trees with a fence and a grain field.
I just got a little request from Corla, the Lyric, to ask if I would do a tile of the Lyric Theatre to be part of this big Swift Current mural. It's fun. It's great paint. It's lovely little tiles.
The 8-foot monument reflecting Swift Current and its prairie landscape will be installed at a permanent location in the community at a later date. You can find out more about this exciting project and view completed murals from across Canada online at Canada Mosaic 150. Southwest Saskatchewan is steeped in history, and a Métis culture camp took us back in time. The sound of fiddle music drew a crowd to the Métis culture camp in Swift Current. The one-day event, hosted at the Battleford Trail Ruts Municipal Heritage Site, offered an insight into Métis culture through a Red River cart workshop, storytelling, and Red River jigging. Barb Parchman is the curatorial and operations assistant for the Art Gallery of Swift Current. She organized the event and explains why it was important to shine the spotlight on Métis culture.
For a number of years now, I've been wanting to have a historically correct Red River cart at the Battleford Trail Municipal Heritage Site. For a long time, there was an old grain wagon here that someone had donated. And when I mentioned this site to people, they would say, oh, where that old Red River cart was. And I would say, but that's not a Red River cart. And so it always kind of bothered me. And so I always wanted to have a real Red River cart on the site and to let people know that this history went on longer than 150 years. And so while Canadians celebrate 150 years, Canadian history has gone on a lot longer than that.
Parchman adds having the chance to ride on a Red River cart along the historic Battleford Trail was an emotional experience for her, as she reflects on her own family's history in the area.
There's a story about my great-grandmother, Ursula Troche. When she was 12 years old, she freighted a Red River cart on the Battleford Trail from Havre, Montana to Battleford, Saskatchewan. And so when I was riding in the cart on the trail out here, I was trying to imagine what would it be like to be 12 years old and to be driving one of those carts. I was in the back and had an experienced horsewoman pulling me along, but she would have had to handle that by herself, probably full of freight. And I know one part of the story talks about when they would go down the river hills and how terrified she was of going down those steep hills. She would cry all the way and keep her eyes closed until she got to the bottom.
A well-rounded event, which was pleasing to many participants, including representatives of the Meewasin Youth Program from Medicine Hat.
I just started running my own Métis jigging program at Meewasin Friendship Center, and to have Yvonne Chartrand here, that's such an amazing opportunity. I'm so thankful for the grants and the support that Saskatchewan has given to be able to put this event on, because I think it's a great opportunity to learn about the Métis culture, and that our youth need to learn it and they need to be proud of it.
And now with a successful Métis culture camp on the books, Barb Parchman has her sights set on a long-term goal: to keep the history of the Métis top of mind for future generations.
I will apply for funding to get a secure location at the end of the Battleford Trail site, a secure, safe place for the cart, but I also want it to be an interpretive center that talks about the cart and its heritage and its construction and the cart's relation to the Métis people and the history in this area.
The Métis Culture Camp was a collaboration among numerous City of Swift Current partners and provincial agencies such as Sask Culture, Saskatchewan Arts Board, the Gabriel Dumont Institute, and the Consul Cultural Franciscois. For over 12 years, Southwest TV News has provided the visuals for the defining moments in our community. Support your community and help us to continue our work. Support our sponsors by watching the ads on YouTube and by clicking the ads on our website. Pennies per click, which will help us continue to bring you the award-winning news coverage you've come to expect from Southwest TV News.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, this brings to a close this special episode of Southwest TV News. I hope you'll join us here again next time. I'm Carol Andrews.